You are now tuning in to the Roughnecks Podcast with your host, Cole Nixon. Much love.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Roughnecks Podcast. This is episode 37. And before I get into this week's episode, I first need to apologize for not having an episode last week. Got a little busy with graduation and my job, and I didn't get an episode recorded. Those are just excuses, but working on making that up to my loyal listeners. To try and make up for that, here's my plan. Now, I say this is my plan because obviously my plans don't always go the way I want them to, but I will have a YouTube video before this episode comes out. It'll be an introduction video. And then I will also, instead of just one episode this week after this episode, I will have another episode probably on Thursday. So you can expect 2 episodes this week. And both of these episodes are planned. Once again, I said planned to be YouTube videos. So now we are moving from not just a podcast, but also YouTube videos as well. And we have one today and another one on Thursday. Like I said, that's the plan. Just picked up my shirts today. Well, actually, your guys' shirts today. Chase Custom Designs finished up my shirts for me, and I will be getting those out either probably after this episode. The week after this episode is when I will be getting those out, is when it'll work out for me. But shout out Chase's Custom Design. She does great work. Done all my shirts like the one I'm wearing right now. But I also still have some items for sale if anybody wants to purchase. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see we got the Roughnecks koozie. And I also, if you're not watching on YouTube, you can see these on the Instagram. I also have the stickers. I have the original Roughneck sticker and the Grab the Bull by the Horn sticker. And also, like I'm wearing right now, the wristbands. I got a black and a red. Oop, there we go. Black and a red. They say Grab the Bull by the Horns. If you want those, just message me. Those are probably the cheapest things that I sell. So if you want it, let me know. Introducing my guest this week, I have somebody that I played college football with. That's where I first met him. It was Sterling, the guy that always laid the boom from the corner position. I learned a lot from, because after you left, I actually had to go play corner. So
that sucks.
I was definitely not as good as you were or Trone. Like I had a lot of big shoes to fill when after you guys left. But what's up, man? How you been?
Oh man, I've just been living life out here, man. Just doing my thing.
Yeah, we just talked. You're out there in Hawaii now. That nice weather.
Yep. Got out here in February.
Yeah, we were mentioning this a little bit before we started recording about how you don't miss that Ohio weather at all.
Absolutely not, man. That place here. All right, I'm not gonna talk down on it, but I'm gonna talk down on it anyways. That place was garbage.
Ohio is hard though, because like Ohio, you could experience all 4 seasons in one day.
Yeah. Well, it was like when I was a senior year, it was like -42 or something negative, where they like say, "Oh, we can't go to class," and then literally the next day it was like 40. It was like chill.
It's like it'll snow one day, and then the next day just there won't be any snow at all. It makes
what sense. I get out here, it's 70 degrees every day. I don't need to figure out what I'm wearing. I just wear what I need to go. I'm chilling.
It's hard to complain about that. So just to start off this episode, I like to give all my guests the opportunity to give a background on themselves, like where they're from and kind of like their like the shortened versions of your journey. So just give us a little background about who Sterling Ohara is.
Oh man. All right. So, well, like, what am I saying? Like where I was born and shit? Like,
no, just like who you are. So like you went to Ohio Wesleyan, you know, what you did after college and stuff like that.
All right. I was about to say, I don't know, but no, I'm from New Canaan, Connecticut. That's where I pretty much grew up for most of my life. Played a bunch of sports there. Went to Ohio Wesleyan. Played lacrosse. I got recruited to play lacrosse there. And then I was like, I'm good. I'm good. Freshman year. Then I played rugby, and then I played football my junior year and senior year. And right now, I'm in the Marine Corps. I'm a second lieutenant. Just got out of OCS in March of last year. Got a TVS in September. Went to my schoolhouse for a couple months, and then I'm out here now doing what I got to do. So
First off, I just got to say thank you for your service. I want to, we just had Memorial Day, and I know that's people. It started to bother me because people don't truly understand like what Memorial Day is and why we celebrate it. They think, oh, we have this day off because it's Memorial. No, like there is a meaning behind that day, and it is very deep, like what that meaning is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like my family got deep roots in the military. I'm the first officer, but like, my mom was in the Air Force. My grandfather was in it. Like, I could go on and on, but yeah, like a lot of my family's been lost in war and stuff like that. So it's a time for reflection, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy my day off from work.
Yes, no one's saying that. We all do.
I do enjoy work, and I don't mind it. It's just, just take some time, right? Just give some like shout outs to some people that, be serving. And it's not, people are there entitled to their own opinions, and that's what I'm doing. So I feel that though. I get what you're going at with that.
Yeah. So the first thing I want to ask you though is, you from Connecticut. I always like to ask out-of-state kids this because I'm always curious what their answer is. But why travel from Connecticut all the way to Ohio Wesleyan? Like, what made you choose Ohio Wesleyan? Especially, we've already talked. You don't even like the weather.
A lot of it. Okay, all right. I'm gonna be really honest. There's two sides. One, my mother did not want to let me go very far. I wasn't a party animal, but I know I would not have succeeded if I went to Florida or Cali or something. So I know my parents were like, oh, let's try to not do that. So, but a lot of it had to do with the sports. I mean, the lacrosse team they're filthy. They're good.
Oh,
I mean, like the year before I got there, they went undefeated that season. So, I wanted to play lacrosse. I was pretty good, and I figured that was my best option. So that's really how it went down.
Then you made that transition to the football field, though. The better transition on the football field is what I like to call it. I mean, they may have better records than us, but that's besides the point.
Football I was meant to play football. I mean, I love lacrosse. I'm good at it. Don't get me wrong, but football is that's where it's at, man. That's where I found my love for the game. And it was funny. I don't know if you know about this when you weren't there, but when I think it was my sophomore year, I don't remember which coach it was. I don't remember who it was, but he went to my high school to recruit, and he was like, "Oh, like, you got any players?" And my coach from high school said, "You already have a football player out." And then next thing I know, I'm getting a call from my coach from high school. He's like, "Hey, you're going to get a call." And I was like, "What are you talking about, coach? What's going on?" He's like, "Yeah, so essentially you're going to talk to the football coach out there." I was like, okay. Literally 2 weeks later, I'm playing corner for the football team. So,
dude, I'll never forget though. I don't remember because you were 2 years ahead of me, I believe. So it would have been my freshman year because you said you played just junior and senior year football, right?
Yeah.
So it would have been my freshman year. And I'll never forget, like, that freshman year, we're sitting there, DBs lift together, and I'm looking around, and all of a sudden I see you, like, repping up 225, and I'm like, I'm never going to play here. Like, I'm screwed.
I was built for safety, but I was dealing with the freaking with the brothers, those two.
Ben and Brad, and then Ryan, too.
It was really just the older brother, whatever his name was. But,
Ben.
I mean, I looked at them, I'm like, well, I'm not competing with 6'5", so. And
you definitely had better speed than them. No offense, Ben and Brad. They were the slowest safeties I think I've ever seen.
It was probably like 3 pounds of tape that they had on their shoes that literally made them that slow. Yes. But I mean, I love corner, and the coaches over there at the corner position, they were home. Like,
dude, I've looked at that was like the one position that I've noticed, like, we have had some awesome coaches out of that position because you were there for Holiday, right? That was your senior year.
That was his first year.
I mean, Holiday was that was his only year, I believe. But Holiday played at Arizona, played corner at Arizona. Right now, we have Fankhauser, who was a walk-on at Ohio State. Now, he didn't play, but he was, like, still, like,
still stud.
literally had Kerry Combs as his coach, like a stud coach. So like he's dealt with and he's good friends with like Jeff Okuda, Jordan Fuller, like these big time people. So it's crazy that like we've had some stud coaches in that position.
Yeah, I will say Coach Devin Holiday is probably one of the smartest if not definitely one of the smartest coaches, if not the smartest coach I've ever had.
Yeah.
That man he made a 6'1", 200-pound man and fit into the position that was made for like 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah.
Half my son.
More Trone size on the other side of you.
But like he was able to do that for me, and his knowledge of the game supersedes anything I've ever seen before. That man, like if I give a shout out, it'd be the Holiday, and I still hit him up every now and then. Him stunting on Instagram, I'm like, all right, I'm stunting. But no, I love that. I miss the coaches over there, man.
I look back because the year after you left, they had me transition to corner for just 1 year because we didn't really bring in anybody. And, you know, I went from safety. I played 7 games, started 7 games at safety, which going to that real quick, you made that transition, like, you know, that scared sophomore who had never played really in a college football game. Like you and Trone, knowing that, because me and Shane both were sophomores because Rubel and I forget, Mario both got hurt. So we had inexperienced sophomores come in, but we still had a sweet defense. Now, you and Trone definitely covered the safety's asses a lot. We're not going to sit here and deny that.
Gassing us up like we was the saviors, but I'm not going to say no. But I see what you're getting at, man. Nah, that was a lot. I remember seeing you guys out there, and we were I would say we were struggling, but we was the people that kept coming down with injuries was just like consistently like, God, like
not him. We do not want to see him down.
Like if me and Natron went down, I don't even know what would have happened. I don't even.
Who was the backup corners?
We didn't.
I don't even know who we had that says anything. Really
I mean, if they're still if they watch your podcast, they're gonna be butthurt. But I'm be dead ass. I don't care. Y'all, it was me and the Trump, but no, you killed it. I remember saying like whenever you like show some tapes, I'm like, hey, this man, he's gonna get it. Like you were very versatile, which is what a good safety is and a good cornerback is.
Wish I could have done that my senior year, but that's besides the point. That was a weird year. You know, we only played 3 games. Yeah, but anyway, going back to Holiday, you know, we're hyping Holiday up right now, but like I look back at it, and no offense, I'm not going to say the coach's name. It was a good coach, but he wasn't a corners coach. He was a receiver, and that's who I had like when I transitioned to corner. And I've even said this before. If I had a Holiday, I feel like I wouldn't have been a, you know, like stud corner, but I feel like I'd have learned better technique and I'd have been a lot more patient and had been a lot better. But that just goes to show, like, I mean, after he left Ohio Wesleyan, he was at Illinois.
I mean, if you think about it, he came in for 1 year, right? And me and Natron went all conference.
Yeah.
First team all conference. Like 1 year. That's all it took. He just came in and it was like, yeah, I'm going to get these guys, then I'm dipping to Illinois. Like, that's a good coach. That shows that he literally gets results. You know what I'm saying?
And no one was mad that he left. He deserves every right to be at a D1 school. I think he's at he's at Ashland now, I believe, but still, like, he's a very good coach.
Absolutely. I mean, whoever has him is lucky.
Yes.
Lucky.
So I'm going to ask you, I'm pretty sure I already know the answer. You kind of already mentioned it, but why then did you join the military? Like what was that decision process like?
All right. Well, you know, when you're let's think about this, right? So when I was getting ready to graduate, I mean, it was 2 years in the making. I started junior year, this process. Mainly it was just, you know, my family, I have a rich history of family. I was in the military, and I knew no one from my generation was going to do it. And I was like, you know what, I'll do it. I don't mind doing it. So I kind of stepped up and was like, you know, if I can go the officer route, my mother said I would not let me go enlisted, but she let me be an officer. And so I was like, all right, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to be a badass about it. And I went to the Marine Corps. and it started junior year, and it was a long, painful process, but a lot of it was just, I didn't have a big plan, right? When I got my degree, it was a matter of like, okay, I have my degree. Now what? I get certified to be like a personal trainer, and then where do I go? Where do I want to do? Right.
Oh, I feel you on that because I just graduated and I got my degree, and now literally I'm just in that like, all right, now what am I supposed to do? Like now I got to go get a big boy job or do something with my life because everybody's expecting you to right after you graduate. What do you have lined up? What do you have lined up?
Exactly.
Nothing really. I mean, I have a full-time job, but it's not with my degree. But it's also going to get me through to the fall to where I can figure out exactly what I want to do.
Yeah, a lot of it was that too. A lot of it was, how am I going to use my degree? I don't even know, like, I don't have much time in that field. I played sports, so I didn't get any hands-on with physical therapy or anything like that. I knew to get my master's, trying to go that route, but the Marine Corps was able to work with the GI Bill. So when I get out, I'll be able to get my master's for free. And getting tuition assistance, which is another way of getting a degree. And then on top of that, I have 4 years of employment, and I get to travel the world if I do, but you get to travel the world. This depends. But the benefits were just lining up. And I think at the time I was just thinking more or less, I need time to think about what I'm going to use my degree for. And actually, if I am going to use it, free school is pretty dope.
Yeah,
so,
I don't think anybody should pass up free school.
And people are gonna, and you said people are gonna look at this, and if they're in the military and be like, oh, he's just in it for the money or the schooling, or he's not in it to serve. I'm totally in it to serve the country. That's goes without.
That your family history shows that it is in your blood essentially. Like that is what you guys do.
Yeah, it's not real. It's not me not wanting to serve the country. I do, but there are things that you consider when joining the military. It's not, you just don't blindly do it. Oh, my family's in it, so I'm gonna do it, which is fine.
Yeah, and if they do that, they're lying. They honestly are lying. Everybody looks at that.
You always got to look at the benefits. I didn't see it coming. Never thought I'd join the military until my junior year of college. And I was like, I'm never doing that. Why would I do that? And then here I am. I lucked out because I was employed during COVID the entire time. You know what I mean? If I didn't go to the military, I would probably be at home in Connecticut right now.
So I want to know what's boot camp like. What is that whole thing? I gotta hear because our topic this month is toughness, and let's be real, that shows some toughness right there to go through all that.
Shit. All right. So, there's enlisted and officer routes, right? So enlisted, they go to Paris Island or San Diego, right? And then all officers in the Marine Corps go to Quantico, Virginia. I'll never go back. It's one of those places that's it's cool. I did that. Awesome. Hey, would you like to go back? Probably not, but it's all right. It's okay. Right?
You can say you were there.
Yeah, but I would say that it was a wake-up call because you get a whole different all different kinds of people, and a lot of them, you get a couple priors, so they were enlisted going now the officer route. And, you think it's all about being physically big and strong and being, I went to college. Everybody played college. 90% of the people there play college sports. You were not that small number, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, so our drill instructors were gunnery sergeants. They've seen some stuff. They was not playing. They was ruthless. Some good stories. I got plenty of stories just getting yelled at, throwing things left and right. The whole point of OCS is to get you stressed. It's to stress you out, but for officers, it's to stress you out. But can you make decisions while in that stressful situation? Mm-hmm. So that's why we have big things called Sulis or like Suli 1 and Suli 2 are just the big tests, big evaluations that you're out in the field for. You kind of do a whole day exercise. You barely get sleep. 15-mile hikes. Well, that was in TBS, but yeah, no, OCS, it's tough, but I'd say TBS, the basic school, the school afterwards, that's where my mental toughness was truly challenged. Like physically, OCS was like, it was just cold the entire time. It was a frozen wasteland the entire time. I hated the cold more than anything. I was like, most of it's just fun and games. Like they're just like getting you disgruntled and you're just like, I stand still, but when you get to TBS or the basic school, which is right across the pond, that's no joke. That's when you're waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning, hiking out to the range, eating, going on little sleep like that. That was tough. I would say that one was probably tougher than.
What would you say was the hardest thing you had to go through, like that tested like your mental toughness or your like just your toughness in general throughout either of those?
For me personally, I'd say it was there's this thing where you have to do a patrol, right? We're mimicking a patrol, but for the day. And you're out you've been out in the field for like a day or two, I think, and you have to what you do is you make 5-paragraph orders, which is just essentially the way it's the way, the will, and the know-how of getting the mission done, right? When you're briefing it to somebody else. And so usually you get a little mission, you write it up, blah, da, da, da. But the tough part is it was in the middle of freaking July. And I have never been more tired in my life. Like you're carrying on your gear. You're like, I just want to lay down. But you got five different missions going on, something like that. From what I remember. And that was tough because you just got to literally pay attention, right? Because you're in a scenario that there's real enemy out there. There's really people out there trying to fight you back. And it's all a tactical game and you're getting evaluated the entire time. Like everything I do is getting evaluated. So if you're falling asleep during a brief, like people notice that and you get hit and stuff like that. So, but yeah.
People say like in college you learn how to survive off little sleep, but it's nothing compared to like what I feel like what you guys go through.
It's the lack of sleep, but the physical labor that comes behind it.
Yeah.
And right, like the thing, like we do a 15-mile hike and the next day you got a full day. It don't matter. Like you started your day at 3 a.m., do a full 15-mile hike. And then at the very end, you're like, oh, thank goodness. You think you take the day off. No, you got work to do. Get to the classroom.
Yeah. You can't skip class and take a nap.
Like this, just like, oh, just wanting to die. That sucks.
So with our topic in mind, I want to ask you some topic related questions with our toughness topic, but I want to ask you this, but what is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word toughness?
Toughness. I hear, man.
It's a tough question. Like I feel like it's such a simple question, but there's so many different ways you could go about it.
Yeah, because one of the things that we learn in Marine Corps is like being mentally and physically tough. It's not just one area, right? And a lot of people forget that toughness isn't just, oh, I got a boo-boo, I still have a Band-Aid on it and keep running. No, it's what do you do when all else has possibly failed? All options are off the table. There's nothing left, but what are you gonna do, right? How are you gonna push through? What's pushing you to get to that next objective? And then physically, can you get to where you need to go? And you put that in everyday life, right? Like, any obstacle that passes your way. So toughness to me, it's more or less the capacity to push through the obstacles that have come your way, regardless of the circumstances that you find yourself in. So it's just a matter of pushing through, standing by what you know.
That's kind of funny how you worded that. And I like that because I look back at last month, our topic was adversity. And, we continued to talk about, it's not the adversity that defines you. It's like what you do. It's like your character, your toughness, how tough you are, and how, because your toughness defines your character.
Right.
In a way. So how tough are you? How mentally tough and physically tough? Because you could have different ones in both situations. Are you to get through this situation? Are you just, because like the slogan of this podcast is grab the bull by the horns. Are you just going to lay there and let the bull, like a bull rider, like just trample all over you? Are you going to get up and take control? Like, are you going to be in control? Because only you can control your life. Nobody else can control your life for you. They might throw obstacles your way, but like you said, it's that whole toughness thing is, can you fight through this? Like, you're going to get thrown some shit your way. Everybody gets thrown shit every single day. And sometimes we think we have it bad, but there's always somebody out there that has it 10 times worse than us.
Right.
And it's like, so how tough are you? Are you just going to let that bull walk all over you? Or are you going to get up and take that bull on?
Right. No, I totally agree. And, like I said, when I was at, OCS, it was cold. Like there were some days that you're watching rifles just sit there while everyone else is eating chow, right? And you're just standing there like this, frozen. And, it's very easy to just kind of, if nobody's watching, some people could get away. You could, I never did, but you could get away with like going inside while somebody else stands outside. Like no one really would know, something like that. But, are you going to take the easy way out kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Right? You're cold. Are you going to toughing it out? Or are you going to you'd be like, this isn't the worst thing in the world, right? So.
I feel like the cold definitely tests your mental toughness because the cold makes you want to just give up. Like, I live in Ohio and I am so I've lived here my entire life. I'm used to the cold. I still absolutely hate it. With a passion.
I'll tell you this. I hate when people ask me, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Connecticut. I went to school in Ohio. And they're like, oh, so you should be used to the cold. Nah, I still feel cold. I know what cold is. If it's cold outside, I'm grabbing a coat. Yes. I hate that, man.
The only people that I think might be legit used to the cold is if you live in Alaska. Those people,
they're wearing coats.
Exactly.
I don't see them going outside it's 20 degrees outside. Go. I've seen those documentaries. They're like, all right, I'm out here. It's negative 14 degrees. The gas tank is 3 miles that way. You can't really see it. It's based on this little thin fishing line. But that's what we're gonna do. It's that's next level.
Yes. So I want to ask you this because we've kind of mentioned it. There's a difference. There's mental toughness and physical toughness. Mm-hmm. Is one easier to have than the other, in your opinion? And can you be taught these things, or are they things that you're born with or that you learn? What is your opinion on these types of toughness?
All right, people that say that you're born with something are as an excuse. Don't get me wrong. Let me back up here because people are going to be like, what? Nah, I think there is times where you say, yes, this thing that I was born with has physically prevented me from being able to accomplish this. Mm-hmm. That is fair in certain cases, right? But telling me that I can't do this because of, I wasn't ready for it at the time, or, I wasn't mentally ready at the time. It's okay, I get what you're saying, but, a lot of it is internal, right? If I had to lose, I was 220 pounds when I was a freaking sophomore in college. I had to lose all that weight so that I could start on a football field, right? Could I have played being 220? Sure, could have gotten away with it, but is that the right thing to do, or is it just me being
you look at that, could you have played? Yeah. Would you have been all conference? Who knows?
Probably not. I'm gonna tell you that, probably not. But which one is easier than the other? I would say it's neither. They're too intertwined. Like you can mentally be super strong, but if you haven't prepared yourself physically, then it'd be pointless almost, because then you're gonna start cutting corners, right? If I'm like, oh, like I can't make it another 100 meters, then you're gonna like, oh, I'll send him, right? Because it's, you see how I'm getting at? It's more intertwined for me personally. So I wouldn't pick one over the other. You really should have tried to be both to the highest level possible. And there is no such thing as perfection, but you expect perfection from yourself.
Yes, I agree 100%. Like if you're not striving for, like, we will never reach it. No one will ever be perfect. That is, like you said, it's not possible. But if you're not striving for it, then like, what are you doing with your life? Like,
exactly.
What do you want to do? Like, why do you just want to be average? I feel like there's too many people in the world that are like today that are just okay with being average. Like everybody who's comfortable. Now, Granted, we need that in the world because otherwise we would have no exceptional. Like it's the whole, whatever you call it, the food chain or whatever. I don't know how to say it, but you know what I mean? Like we need it, but at the same time, like it's hard. It's to look at people, we see it in sports. We've seen kids who come in and you're like, you have so much ability, but yet they're just fine with being average. Like, okay, like I'll be average. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Like DK Metcalf still works out.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen that, man? Like I look at him and I'm like, you're perfect. Stop going to the gym. You won. You made it. You've done made it. But that man's still in the gym every day. People like it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what you do in life. If you want to get it and you want to have it, look at any story that's out there, right? About people that have overcome literally anything to get where they want to be. I mean, there are certain things that can limit you, right? And there are a lot of the times it's tough to say like, yes, right? Like when you're talking about like people from third world countries, right? Who aren't as, they're not have the availability for a lot of the things that we have here in the US. Like, yes, they definitely, what they have to overcome is a lot more, right? Because of the resources that they do not have.
Mm-hmm.
And you do take those things into consideration. That's why I was hesitant to say like, oh, well, right, like I was physically born with this, or like I just don't have it. Like that's why I hesitated. I was like, let me explain myself, right? Because those situations, right, you have to realize it, right? Like there's people probably in Africa, right, in different third world countries like Madagascar and other these places, that how are you going to get them one of the fastest dudes in the world, right? They could be just sitting in that Madagascar. You just wouldn't know.
Exactly. You just don't
know. But that's not to say that like if we were able to reach out and help those people, and help them, right, with getting resources and getting them the education they need to provide them, right, things would be different.
People don't understand. Like a lot of people think, all right, like USA, like only our country. There's this thing called the Good Country Index or something that I learned about this past year in my international business class. Like, it goes off of how much these countries help other countries. Right. United States is very low on the list. Right. Like countries like Germany are at the top. Like and it goes to show like you're helping it's helping your country, but it's also helping the world. And we should all be trying to help the world like in some way possible. Like we in the United States, we have all the resources that we can wish for, and we take them for granted so much. I think like people don't realize what it's like, oh, I want some food and just DoorDash it or something. Like you really think they got that in certain countries in Africa? Like, no, they have to walk 3 miles just to get something to eat. And then they don't have a refrigerator to even put it in so they might not even be able to keep it. So like a lot of things get taken for granted. And I feel like that is a thing that is something in this country is not enough people give anymore. Everybody wants to take and not give.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a problem. Even, I catch myself doing it. Like it's crazy. the amount of times, like I just talked with my girl today about it. She does a lot of research, like a lot of research. She's way smarter than me. I'll tell you that. Like, I swear I'm a dummy. But she like, and it's crazy. She brought up a good point. Like the difference is, right, there's an education thing going on, and she told me like, hey, right, why aren't we educating the women and children, and you're just educating the men, right? Because a lot of the times, a lot of those countries, and I was kind of hearing her out. I didn't get the whole story, but from what I understood, like a lot of these countries, it's male dominated. And that's why I'm assuming that when she said that, it's because those male dominated societies, right? We'll build you a school, but we're not going to let certain people in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would assume, right? Don't quote me on this, please. Well, I'm just understanding
what fact check on this podcast. There's no reason to fact check on this podcast. Don't fact check
me on what the statistics are, but what she was referring to was like, if you educate the women and children, like there may or may not be, I think there is like statistics that show like those countries actually improve and they actually are able to do more. And I was like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. But yeah. I don't even know where we're going with this, but I just learned that this morning. So
I usually ask a couple questions right before the best segment of the podcast, but I'm adding a new one, and it's one that I'm going to ask all my guests now. These 3 questions get asked to every guest. First one is, who is your biggest inspiration?
Oh man, my biggest inspiration. I mean, can it be 2 people? I mean,
yes, you can let, yeah.
Oh, it's so cheesy. Probably my dad, you know, my dad, and my mom. Like, it'd just be like right there, my dad and mom. Because they put up with me.
Like, I feel you on that one. My parents don't listen to this podcast, sadly, but I feel you.
I'm just saying, right? I'm a all right, let me shut up. I was not a great kid in high school in terms of my relationship with my family. And I'll say it, and I own it. Like, I definitely made it difficult, and it was tough for us, and I was mentally struggling. But when I started getting my shit together, it all changed. I was like, you were right the whole time. Why were you right the whole time? I hate you. They're like, wow, we said one day you'd thank us. But no, they honestly, like, I mean, I hope that I've been blessed, and I truly have been. Like, I know there's people out there that don't have, you know, like a family member, they don't have parents or any case like that. I truly have been blessed with parents that were able to sacrifice and drop anything on the dime for me, and 2, help me, you know, get to where I needed to go. They came, you know, they were not wealthy by any means growing up. Like, I've heard their story 1,000 times. Like, I tell it to everybody. Like, they both were like, they literally went like road. Like, how am I saying this? Am I saying this right?
I know what you mean.
They started from the bottom, now they're here. Like that type of thing. And then that type of thing. They did that. And like for me, like that just shows that, you know, anybody can do it. Like, you really put your mind. My dad's he's a perfectionist, detail oriented. My mom's got a big heart, big thoughts, big plans. And I think I was able to have both of them use that with me. So those 2 for sure.
If you could go back in time and tell yourself one thing, what would it be?
Bro.
I know there's probably a lot of things.
I swear, that's like 3 times a day. I'm like, you should have not said that. You shouldn't have done that. Oh, you could go. All right. One time, you could go back in time. I tell myself in high school, and I say this, go back in high school. I would have said sophomore year, go like stop cheating yourself in the gym, for sure.
Jesus, from when I met you, it didn't look like you ever cheated yourself in the gym.
I was 185 scrawny. I was scrawny, but I was good. Like, I had, like you said, I had the abilities, but physically, I just was like, oh, I'll get by on ability, and I did well. I did very successfully in all the sports that I played. But go to the gym and do better at school. Stop being lazy. Like stop. Yeah, that's hands down what I've said. I would have said, do your schoolwork, just do the homework, and you'll be fine. You'll
especially in high school, man. It's so like literally all you have to do is your work, and you just kind of get by.
I wish I took that advice. I really, not saying I would change anything to where I get to today.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I could go back, I would tell myself, like when I was a freshman in high school, not go to class, like do your work. I went to class, but do your work and go to the gym. I think that would have been, that's hands down what I would have said.
Final thing before the best segment of the podcast, but what are the goals of Sterling going forward?
Oh man. The goals is to make it through tomorrow without getting fired. No, I'm just kidding. My goals, man, I want to stay out here in Hawaii. I want to stay near the West Coast or stay in Hawaii. But also, right, with my career, just depends, how the tides change, where I find myself in, I'm out here for 3 years for my tour. So we'll see how that goes. My goals in life really to get my master's for sure. And, once I get my master's, work from there, see if I can get maybe more degrees, just keep on rolling with it, then get some good jobs, right? Get some management jobs. And I don't know, just definitely keep playing sports. Absolutely.
Sports never end.
If I don't play sports, I quit. And, I'm trying to start doing a bodybuilding competitions. So that should be starting next year. So we'll see how that goes.
There we go. So now it's time for the best part of the podcast, which is Motivation Monday. Motivation Monday is where I allow my guests to give our Roughnecks listeners a little inspirational bump to set their tone for the Monday morning, because this comes out every Monday morning at 10 a.m. besides the bonus episode on Thursday for missing an episode. So what do you got for Motivation Monday?
Motivational Monday to all the fans out there. Here's what I'll say is that don't ever let opportunities pass. Take each one. My life, the way I thought it was going to turn out, did not turn out the way I thought. Each year, I keep thinking, it's like, this is what I'm going to have planned. Like when you said, what are your goals? To me, I have ideas, but it seemed like I didn't think I was going to ever be in the military, and here I am. I didn't think I was going to play football in college. I was just going to play lacrosse. Well, that changed after a year. I thought I was going to be a finance and accounting major. Literally went to health and human kinetics instead. I could literally go on and on and on about all the times like I thought I had plans, and that shit just changes on the dime. If your relationships isn't working out, mine was working out with my family, and then here I am having like the best support I've ever had in my life, right? I've never been tighter with my family. Like, never count anything out. Take those opportunities, Don't sell yourself short on any time. Don't ever let yourself think that you can't do something just because, right? And I keep saying it, like, yes, resources and different things may create a bigger hurdle for you, but don't ever let that hurdle be too high, Always keep climbing, always keep grinding. There's always ways around situations. But take every opportunity. I just can't stress that enough. If I had to do anything again, it would just be take more advantage of the resources and those opportunities.
That, like, kind of going what you're saying, and like how I'm taking it at least, is like, take the leap. Too many people, like, they have the opportunities in front of them. Take the chance, because you never know what's going to happen. you get offered this job, but like you're afraid to give up this other job, but you never know. This could be your dream job. This could be, yeah, you might have to take a pay cut, but this may be your dream job. And you can put that in 100 million different situations, but take the chance sometimes. I'm not saying take every risk, because there's risk involved in every chance. Like, you have to weigh your options to make sure it's a good, because it has to be an opportunity, a good opportunity. You can't just, but don't let it. Joe Delagrave, guy I had on 3-4 episodes ago, he said like too many people sit on the sidelines and wait for the opportunity and let it pass them by. Like, just take those, like you said, take those opportunities, take that chance and go get it.
Take it by the horns, right? Is that
grab the bull by the horns?
Grab the bull by the horns. Dang, I was close. But yeah, like dead ass. I cannot be more serious. Like, when it comes, and I'll wrap this with like into the military real quick, right? If you're in a situation and people are just shooting at you, right? And you got to make decisions, right? Like, the thing is, if somebody next to you is injured and they can't do what they need to do to be a leader, well, the next person steps up. And then you have to take that opportunity, be that guy that just be like, I'm taking control. Like, this is what we're doing. Like, in that split second. And it only takes a split second between life and death. And you can apply that to anywhere.
Yeah, that's not just military. That's in general.
That's in general, everything. There's a logical way to go about things, but you sacrifice speed when it comes to using that logic. But at the same time, if you don't use logic, you are at a higher risk of negative outcomes. So,
but with that, that's a wrap on episode 37 of the Roughnecks podcast. Thank you so much, Sterling, for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. Be sure to rate and review, and then subscribe if you're listening on something like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, whatever it is. And then after you're done with that, head over to YouTube. If hopefully this is on YouTube, it should be. And then subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed the episode. Then hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the future episodes. Leave a comment on your thought on this episode. Hope you guys like Sterling. Plan on another episode this coming Thursday. But for now, you know the deal. Life is going to throw you all kinds of challenges like we talked about. Just like a bull rider experiences with a bull. What are you going to do? Lay there, let it walk on you? Or are you going to get up and be a tough son of a bitch and grab that bull by the horns and take control of your life? Until next time. Exactly. Whoop that bull's ass. Until next time, Roughnecks out.